Hey, I've been working on this Christmas wreath. I did a time lapse, so I'll post it and you'll get to see it done real quick. But this is what the base looks like. I'm gonna put this sign on it that says Merry Christmas, got the Christmas trees, and I'm gonna prep it. That's what I'm gonna show you. And then I'm gonna put, I think I'm gonna put these little silver balls in each one of the little things. It all depends. When I get it together, I'll see what it looks like. But anyway, to prep the sign, let me scoot this down a little bit. To prep the sign, you decide where it needs to be. Mine's gonna go up near the top. So I'm gonna need one of these cable mounts on either side so that it'll hold on that part of the wreath and hold it in place. And then I'm going to put a bow down here because this ribbon matches what's in the sign. So I'm going to put a bow down here, and when I get it all together, I'm going to post it and show you what we're doing. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to prep the sign. I'm sure you know how to do this, but I'm just gonna do it. I usually don't squirt through the top of my this because it gets all glued together, and then you can't. For some reason, I can't ever get it out, and I have to end up taking the top off anyway. So I just use a popsicle stick, and periodically, you see what starts to happen? Periodically, I have to go in there and just take all the hard glue out. But that's easier. That's a whole lot easier than trying to clean this thing out. I'm just trying to find the easiest way to keep from creating havoc for myself. But anyway, so I put that glue down first, and it's Tight Bond. I got it from Amazon. And I've got my glue gun on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on top of that and just kind of squish it around, and it'll start to adhere. And the other side the same, but I'll just take hot glue and put over the corners. And that tight bond will hold when it's completely dry. It takes about 24 hours for it to get completely dry. But I just put it on like that, then take my hot glue. Because sometimes here in West Virginia, it'll be super hot outside, and then it'll be so cold, and you never know. See what I'm doing? I'm just putting it across the edges around it so that it'll stay in place while I hook it to the wreath. I know it may be overkill, but be better to be safe than sorry. My daughter had a beautiful wreath on her door and a real pretty sign. I didn't make it, but I went down to her house. You see what it looks like? See all the glue on it? I went down to her house and the sign had popped off, and the glue was all on this thing. It wasn't nothing on the back of the sign itself. But anyway, that's all I do. And I usually just take my blow dryer and just hit it a little bit so that the hot glue starts to dry, so that when I put the pipe cleaner through it, I don't pull it off. Anyway, but in the video that I did earlier, I did one slow spot to show you how I cut my ribbons and how I use the ribbon board to wrap it, and the rest of it's real fast. But anyway, it was fun making it. I'll be back later. Okay, I'm going to show you how I put my sign on. I found what I did, I squashed my frame a little bit and ovalized it. That's not really a word, but that's what I've heard used, and that's what I'm using. Anyway, you can tell it's wider because the sign's wider and the bow will be wider. I wanted it to not be so round or slender. I wanted it to be wider. And this is not a giant frame, so I'm going to put it up. I'm going to turn it up here where you can see it. I'm going to put it up near the top. And what I do, I just find, since this is the center of the bottom and I've got a little silver ball on it just so I'll know, I put this in place. And then I've got these little, I don't know what they're called, darning needles, I think. I got them from Amazon. A lot of people use the long ones. I couldn't find the long ones, so I just ordered the short ones. And I just, once I find exactly where I want it to go, I just drop the needle down through the yarn, Lord help me, the mesh, until I find the needle coming through on the other side. We'll get both of them through and then show you what it looks like. Let me get this one. Sometimes I hit a ribbon and I can't get through. Come on now. Now I see that that's where I want it. See how it's near the top? You can still see a little bit part of the top. I just flip it over and you can see where they came out. Well, I've lost one of them somewhere. Anyway, where they come out, they're near the bars here. What I do, I wrap it around the first bar I come to, pull it to the side, and then I hook them together. If the twist or the chenille stems are long enough, I twist it together and I put the large zip ties through this just to hold it together. And then I just start wrapping it around either side. I don't know if you can see this or not. I start wrapping it around the bar just so it'll hold it in place. I do one side and then the other. And then I'll flip it over. And I hope and pray that the sign stayed in the right place so I don't have to take it loose. That's happened to me more than once. Making a wreath or anything is not a precise thing. Everything can go haywire, everything can go right, and you'll still mess up somewhere. Okay, you see the sign? I think it's cute. It's not the most elaborate, but I think it's cute. And once you get your sign on and you put your bow on, then you can, you know, readjust all the ribbons. I always like to pull out the ribbons out from under the sign if possible, just because they're pretty. And if you can pull them out and show them off a little bit, it just looks good to me. And when you use deco mesh, there's always little strings. Don't pull, cut. but that's just the nature of the beast. Got another one under here somewhere. There it is. I just pull them up and put them together. They almost look like a little tulip. Just pull them all up like that. And I'm going to work on the bow. I usually use a bow maker because I've got arthritis horrible in my hands. But anyway, I'll be back in a minute and I'll show you the bow. Hey, I'm back. I'm going to make the bow. I'm not going to make long tails because I don't want it to be hanging all down everywhere. I just want it to all be neat in size. I think I'm just going to go about 7 inches with the tail, the first tail here. And this bow maker, I really like it. It's I bought it from it's a 4-in-1 from Wreath of Joy. And when I bought Pro Bow the Hand and all of those bow maker, seems like I've got every bow maker coming and going, but I like this one. And then I've got a little tiny, this is about 5 3/4 loop. I've got a real tiny one that's almost like a kid's bow maker that I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. I think I bought it at Hobby Lobby or Amazon. This was 7 or 8 years ago when I very first started making wreaths, so I could just experiment. And I still use it sometimes. I'm making 2 loops of this on each side. I think you use whatever you get used to, regardless of if it's the most expensive or the cheapest. It's whatever you're used to using. Whatever you learned on, you have a tendency to go back to it. I think this ribbon's pretty. Make sure these are all about the same. Yep. And I don't know if that'll look good or not. The Christmas ribbon. I've got some solid burlap. Might be better not to have a whole lot of print in it because it's basically a kind of simple, you know, not over the top wreath. This wouldn't have to be twisted because it looks like it's the same on either side, but I'm gonna go a little bit shorter with this one, right at 5. What I like about this bow maker, it's got big numbers. I can see the big numbers better. I'm gonna do 2 of these at 5 also. It's pretty with that gold trim on it. See if I have enough of the green to put in there, to put a couple of loops. And I think this is pretty with polka dots, just offset just a little bit. I use this for the ribbon tail, so I'm hoping I've got enough to. I'm going to do this one a little bit below 5, maybe 4 3/4. It's an olive color, maybe 4. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. I hope you can. Just gonna do two loops of that. I don't know that I would have enough to do more than that. Maybe. I'm gonna use some of this. I think I'm going to make 2 of these on each side. Let's see, what is that at? Maybe 3.5. Not really sure. Can't see under there very good. Sorry for having to clear my throat so much, but I've had strep throat and it has been awful. Earaches, throat sore. It was hot enough today, I had to turn my air conditioner on. Here I am making a Christmas wreath and it's 70 some degrees or 80 some degrees outside today. Where I live is, the elevation's lower here in West Virginia. We're at the bottom of a mountain. And it's always hotter here. The air, you know, the hot air gets trapped. You can go 30 minutes away and it'll be 5 to 10 degrees cooler in the mountains. Okay. I think it's gonna be okay. If I have to, I can put a little doodad in the middle of the bow to do the center. I'm gonna get pipe cleaner and no, that's a zip tie. Yeah, I do know the difference. And a pipe cleaner to use to put under it so I can I'm just feeding in between the two. I have to get one of those great big ones. I'm gonna have to. I'm going in between the 2 sticks here, 2 dowels. I hate to lose a bow. Start picking it up and all of a sudden the bow goes flying apart. You see there's an indentation. You see the indentation? Try to mash it as hard as I can. I don't want to lose position of any of the ribbon. I've done that too. It seemed like it's been in a circle. You name it, I've done it. Let me get a pipe cleaner to put underneath this. Well, ain't that special. It's just a little bit too tight. I'll feed it under. It's another thing these needles are good for. Okay. Now I saw one of the creators take this sucker and press it down as hard as she could to keep that thing in place. I don't have a lot of strength in my hands. But I definitely don't want to lose placement in my bow. It's hard enough to make a bow without it coming apart on you. Oh, Lordy mercy. Okay, what I'm going to do is cut this off. And then try to fluff it a little bit. Get all my tails down here. Losing my pipe cleaner. There it is. I get all my tails down here in the right place. Am I? Okay, I'm gonna dovetail them. I like to have those little peaks sticking out over top of, laying on top of another ribbon. Looks pretty, I think. I have cut these suckers wrong I don't know how many different times, especially when I was first learning. I'd be cutting toward my hand and end up cutting opposite direction. Took a while. I'm still not the best at doing anything like this, but I try and I like it. I guess that's all that matters. As long as you keep on trucking and keep on trying. Once I have it on the wreath, I'll mess it up when I put it on the wreath anyway, but once I have it on the wreath, I'll be able to, you know, open all these up. Oh, there's one I missed. I turned around here and do it cockeyed. I'm all about the same length. Put this thing over here. Bring the wreath back. And I'm going to put the ribbon right here. I put an extra little piece of mesh in there so there wouldn't be a gaping hole in the middle. This is where I'm going to put it. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing, the angle that we're at. Looks like it's in the center, but all I've got to hook to is the zip tie. Let me make sure that's going to look right. Got the bow too deep, I think. Let's see if it's going to... I got it twisted here. I think the side's giving a little bit. That's what's pulling the bow down. But I like where it's placed. I'm going to have to, can you see? Can you see it? I'm going to have to add another tie up at the top and secure this up the top because it keeps wanting to fall down on the bow. And that's squashing the bow a little bit. But that's it for now. I hope you like it. Talk to you later. Bye. Well, I'm back. I tell you what, that sign was heavier than I thought it was, and I had to go back in and put a tie at the top and on both sides. It was already here, and I had to go back in and put, because I didn't realize how heavy it was until I stood it up with the bow on it, and it kept knocking the bow down. So I had to anchor it to the frame in the back up higher. And once I did that, then I had to drop the bow down, and I shortened the end so that it wouldn't look like it was falling off because it wouldn't hold. It's just the size of the frame. It didn't have, you know, a longer span like the work frames does, or work frames do. Gosh, my English is terrible. You can see on the back, I had to go in and tighten up even the bow, because you can see the frame it's real narrow here. But you just have to learn to adapt to whatever you're using. I kind of like it. I hope you do. Sometimes when you watch somebody do something and they make mistakes, it helps you if you run into the same thing later on. Guess I could hang it straight. It would help a little bit. But anyway, I just wanted to come back and show you what it looked like. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.